Hello, I am Chandler Klebs, and I realize it's been a long time since I've recorded one of my personal videos. Because I'm usually publishing podcasts I do with my co-hosts and stuff, which has been a little bit weird lately because there hasn't really been very much action because Monique and I are down to like just one show a month because, we're both too busy. And we don't even have one yet for February, but we're planning to do one this weekend. And I did one about morality with George, WSD, Jamie, and Yuri, which is someone who's debated morality with Trick Slattery. So, you know, it's that stuff. In fact, that wasn't isn't even published. But anyway, people know me from the podcast, but see, I have a life just like everybody else, and there's been a lot going on recently, and so the purpose of this video is basically to update my friends on what's going on with me. But I'm also boiling some water here. I'm trying to get some water boiling, or at least very hot. It doesn't have to be boiling, because I actually have some vegetables to cook here. There was some cheap 99-cent bags of vegetables here that I got at Hy-Vee. Oh man, Super Freezer. There is way too much stuff in here. Okay. This is disgusting. Yeah, see, here's the thing. Now, we're low income and we get a lot of food given to us from food pantries, that kind of thing. My mom has connections with her case manager, all that stuff. But what ends up happening is we're given a lot of meat. And everybody knows I'm vegan. I don't eat the meat, I don't eat the dairy. Guess who eats it all? My mom does. And this has been upsetting me because I know it's not good for her health. She tries to make use of it, and she understands why I'm vegan. But for her, it's like the fact that we're given mostly meat by the things that are supposed to help people. See, I have a lot on my mind. There's a lot of stuff going on that really worries me. And so, I don't know. See, I want to talk about some positive stuff too. But yeah, that seeing all that meat in there just threw me off my groove, realizing that my mom ends up eating all this stuff, and I'm really disgusted with the world. Okay, this happens when you're a vegan and you understand the cruelty to animals. You'll understand that people, even when they buy meat in order to give to people who they think they're doing a good thing, they think that by buying meat and giving it to low income people who are too poor to buy their own food all the time, they think they're doing a good thing. And under that system, I understand, but at the same time, that's supporting you're keeping the humans alive while supporting the killing of those other animals by buying the meat, even to donate to harvesters or to whatever churches that people get food from. And see, this is the thing. You have to understand this. My friend Monique understands this. Some of my other friends understand this. Is when you have your eyes open and to understand the suffering that humans impose on these animals when there's no need really, then you really get to thinking, and it changes your whole philosophy of life. And so that's why, I just want to get some thoughts out. I have a lot of stuff on my mind, and see, I'll show you here. I've got some chopped broccoli here. I don't know if you can see that. Yeah, I've got some broccoli here, and over here I've got some Brussels sprouts. I don't know if you can see that, but yeah, these were like 99 cents, and they're each 12 ounces. So what I'm basically trying to do is, they're frozen. I just need to get them warm. They don't need to be like really hot or anything. But I just need to get them soft, because I just need something to get them soft so I can eat them easily. So that's the thing. So what I'm basically doing is, I don't cook much. Okay, so this is the video where Chandler attempts to cook. Now, I have cooked pasta. I will admit I've cooked pasta at least. That's not so hard. Basically, the process of cooking pasta is just get the water very hot, put the pasta in it, maybe stir it around, turn off the heat, let it soak up the water, and I'm basically trying to do the same thing with these vegetables. They just need to get soft in this hot water, and then I'm gonna eat them. And it's gonna be a little bit weird because I've never actually eaten Brussels sprouts, I don't think. My mom said she doesn't like Brussels sprouts. And so when I brought these Brussels sprouts home, she's like, I hope those Brussels sprouts aren't part of, like, see, here's the deal. My mom prepares these meals. Okay, this is a little backstory. I didn't mean to get into this, but my mom has me get like the steamers, like you steam them in a bag. You just microwave them in a bag, vegetables, because that's convenient. She doesn't like the process of trying to cook vegetables the old-fashioned way. So she just likes something she can throw in the microwave, which I get. We're busy. But she makes these wonderful vegetable meals with those. However, I want to figure out an efficient way to cook my own vegetables, the regular kind, because I'm vegan and I'm gonna be eating a lot of vegetables the rest of my life. So I need to find a way that works, and they're cheaper. The steamer kinds, sometimes you can find them on sale, but a lot of times the regular frozen vegetables are so dirt cheap. Like 12 ounces of vegetables for 99 cents really isn't bad. Seriously, people, vegetables are cheap. Fruit is cheap. Grains are cheap. People say that it's expensive to be vegan, and not really. And see, here's the ironic part. We spend more on the non-food items, the trash bag, the Kleenex, the toilet paper, all of these things that aren't food. We actually spend far more money on that, not to mention the electric bill, the heating bill. I mean, you know what I mean? It's the bills that are taking up all our money while we don't have enough money. But with the money we do have, seriously, I get good deals on vegetables. And I also have some orange juice over here. I have some orange juice that I've been drinking. These were like on sale, like $1.39 and there was a limit of 2. So I just bought this today, and I'm gonna drink some orange juice. I love this stuff. Yeah. So anyway, I'm recording this video because there's a lot of stuff that I want to say to my friends, but I also need to be here and watch this because I don't want to just leave this burning unattended. So I have to be here. So let me get on to some other topics I wanted to talk about. Okay. I am sort of working on another book. I have about 19 kilobytes on this new book I'm trying to write, and I'm not sure if it will ever, if this will be published or not. It's a book about celibacy. And the idea is I'm advocating celibacy as the solution to all the world's problems. Well, almost all the world's problems. It's the ultimate solution, okay? So basically, by a mix of ethical veganism, and it's closely related to antinatalism as well. The idea that, procreation is unethical. But there's a lot to it. So I don't know, people may be interested, and I would like to hear people's thoughts on the idea of a book promoting celibacy. I don't even know. There may be other books promoting celibacy as the ideal lifestyle, but I highly doubt it. I haven't come across that type of thing. And I've done some searching online. But anything promoting celibacy is usually by some Catholic or some Hindu or something, you know what I mean? Somebody who's like a celibate monk of some religion because they think it makes them spiritual to not have sex. That's an interesting thing, but I'm not like that at all. My whole thing is that, okay, I want to lay this out for people because this is kind of a radical new idea for people. But, if people, see, here's the deal. The reason you avoid heterosexual sex is because that avoids pregnancy, right? With no pregnancy, there's no abortion. People know I'm anti-abortion. And there's also no new children coming into this world, meaning that they can't eat animal products. They can't grow up and buy and eat animal products. Therefore, they can't cause suffering. So here's the deal. Every time somebody procreates, and creates children, those children impose suffering on someone else. You know what I mean? Because they're either going to hurt some other human. Look, everyone, including me, does things wrong. And I want people to understand that when I talk about ethics, morality, I'm not putting myself as better than other people. Being vegan is not about proving that you're better than other people. Because that's not the point. It's not about me, people. And Monique gets this, some other people may get this. I just don't want to hurt anyone. And to the extent that I have hurt anyone by something I've said or something I've done, I apologize for that. Because I really I don't I don't desire to hurt anybody. I just don't want to cause suffering to any animal, whether human or cow or chicken or pig or sheep or horse or even fish. I don't even eat fish. I mean, I just cannot stand the idea that what I do causes suffering to someone else. I don't even kill spiders. I try to get them out of the house without killing them. And that's kind of a dilemma there, because if the spider lives, it kills other insects. But I don't want to be the killer. It's like, I know there's going to be killing in this world, but I have the strongest desire to not be the killer. Which is weird, because a lot of people, I will tell you, a lot of people do not desire to be the killer. And even when they buy meat, it's because they don't want to kill the animal themselves. They want somebody else to kill the animal, and they just pay them to kill the animal, which is very weird when you think about it. Because the average person, unless they're a psychopath, some serial murderer, or some abortionist, or, most people, I think, do have a problem with killing. Although, there's always hypocrisy, like people believe in killing certain people in certain circumstances, but I think people can agree that there's something wrong with killing. And if you don't agree to that, then you're probably not listening to me, because you would have given up a long time ago. But anyway, so this celibacy thing, this idea of a celibacy book, and I don't, and I'm still coughing because I've been kind of sick lately. But anyway, I just have so much to say here, and I want to keep saying it here. So, the idea of the celibacy thing is, by not having sex, people are not spreading sexually transmitted diseases, which is causing harm to other people, and they're not procreating, meaning that they're not bringing in more people who will cause harm. Because, let me put it straight. Vegans who have children who grow up to be carnists are basically defeating themselves. And let's face it, parents do not end up like their children. I mean, come on. Almost all the atheists were raised by Christians. What does that tell you? You know what I mean? It's like all the most outspoken atheists were raised by Christians or Muslims or some harmful religion out there. But let's just face it. Carnists can have children who end up being vegans, and vegans can have children who end up being carnists. And if you don't know what a vegan or a carnist is, then, oh man, I don't know how to get into that. But a vegan doesn't eat animal products that involve causing pain or killing the other animals. And a carnist is just a term for a non-vegan, basically. Which, you have to say, 99% of the humans on the planet are a carnist. It's never been very popular to be vegan, because everybody else is just like fine with killing these animals, and it's so speciesist. You know what I mean? It's crazy. It's like people who wouldn't kill another human and eat their flesh have no trouble with killing chickens or paying other people to kill chickens. And I mean, it's like the genocide of the chickens and the cows and the bulls is just unreal. I mean, those are the animals that experience the worst of it. But people just have this view of these other animals. Like, just look at how racehorses are treated. They're forced to race in these races whether or not they want to. And if they can't run anymore in the race, then they just shoot them and kill them. And everyone knows, like, I mean, I love all animals, humans included. Like, I respect their life. But horses have a special place in my heart, so to speak. There's something about horses that is just so beautiful. it's really hard to explain, but I am so into horses. Everyone knows this. My favorite show is My Little Pony, and my favorite Pokemon is Ponyta, and I'm just like nuts about horses. I love real horses. I've been around real horses a few times. I brushed a horse and fed a horse, and it was cool. I just love horses. They're awesome. But anyway, but that's the thing, is like just realizing that we all have certain animals we like and others we don't. And I think that a speciesism that's based on behavior, I get that. People are scared of spiders. Arachnophobia, fear of spiders or spider-like things, is a perfectly rational fear. They can bite you, they can poison you, they can kill you. If you're afraid of spiders, that's because you're a smart person. It's smart to be afraid of spiders. You don't want to get near them, you don't want to be bitten by them because they can kill you. Not to mention anything else, just about, if they're the poisonous type. But that's just it. Let's just say that there's certain animals I like because they're harmless. I mean, come on, It's not like you have a bunch of serial murder horses or sheep. You know, they're harmless animals. I mean, cows don't go around trying to kill things. They just eat their grass. And I know people are going to say, well, that's killing plants and you eat plants. And I'm like, yeah, if you want to classify it that way, but if anybody who doesn't get the difference between plants and animals, there's very little hope for them, because these plants, I really don't think plants feel pain. I really don't. I mean, I sure hope not. But of course, that's a whole other debate. I don't want to get into that. But if it were proven that plants feel pain in the same way that animals do, then we would have some serious moral dilemmas going on there. But anyway, okay, so the idea, however, is that, if people are celibate, then new people don't exist. That's the idea. Unless, of course, you're some new age person that thinks that there's souls that are continually created even if people don't have sex. And I don't know how. See, I don't get religion. I really don't. But yeah, basically, the idea is, if nobody has sex, then there's no new children. Meaning they don't need to eat, so they don't eat plants or animals, And let's face it, people, we have a climate change crisis on our hands. Now, I know there's a lot of people who deny climate change, but I generally don't talk to those people, okay? But yeah, we have a climate change crisis. A lot of that is caused by animal agriculture, not to mention coal and oil, other means that increase the carbon, and then you've got people cutting down the trees and decreasing the oxygen. And so, okay, that's the thing about it, is we have a climate change crisis, which, from how I understand, is causing the sea levels to rise, warming up the planet, and will probably end up killing the entire human race, and probably even the other animals as well. I mean, because sure, there's tardigrades that can survive anything, but humans and most animals are not tardigrades, It's like, so, let's face it, all of us die. I get that, okay? Everyone dies at some point, but let's face it, we're all about to experience, most of us are going to experience more and more painful deaths as well as a result of climate change. Not to mention the wars that will probably happen. Like my friends say, they think Donald Trump is going to start World War III, and I'm like, I don't know, but I don't get into it because I can't do anything about what politicians do. But here's the deal. We all die, and I just think that by not procreating, you're also sparing somebody whatever pain they go through when they die. Because most people die horrible, painful deaths, People die of cancer, people die in accidents. I mean, it's kind of a strange thing because, okay, I have two things going on with me. Like, there's this conflict on knowing that life is full of suffering, mostly inflicted by humans. And even climate change is pretty much a human-caused thing. But here's the thing: is yes, life is full of suffering. Yet I try to remain rather optimistic. But at times I just get so disgusted. You know what I mean? It's like humans. They're so Most humans are so stupid and so violent, and you've got people dying of starvation. You've got people dying in wars, and all there's all sorts of pain in this world. And so sometimes it's really easy to get depressed when you look at just what humans do to other humans and other animals. And so it's a very interesting thing, but there's two effects. I think this has one of two effects. Some people are like my friend Trick Slattery, for example, or like David Benatar. You know, they're anti-natalists. Their idea is that we should basically abort people, basically. And it's a weird thing because that's like anti-natalists are of the opinion that it's wrong to impose suffering on somebody by giving them life in which they can experience suffering. And I get that. I've read some stuff on antinatalism. I've listened to some stuff, and I find it fascinating, but at the same time rather depressing. It's like it's something that I don't want to believe is true, yet it is, that I can see that you're imposing suffering on somebody when you procreate. And oh man, I've gone through so much thought about this. Back when I was a Christian, I was thinking, why do people have sex when they know their children will most likely go to hell if they don't believe a certain thing the right way? Like, I don't get that. And I gave him this idea to be childless and stay a virgin for life, back when I was still a Christian. And so now I'm an atheist years later, but I just think about it and I'm like, yeah, it's unethical to procreate. But at the same time, I just can't go so far as to, as to say we should abort the children of the ark as Eve. It's like I want them to live a happy life when they're here, but I don't want them created in the first place. So I have this moral conflict, and okay, now the water is starting to get really hot in this pan here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set this down for a bit here, and put in these vegetables. All right. All right. Whoa, that water is rather hot. Ooh. Ouch. Burned. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Alright, yeah, so I've got these vegetables in this water here. I think I put in a little bit more water than I need. I really didn't need that much water here. Okay. Okay, so anyway, yeah, see, because I'm trying to multitask here. Okay, so here's the thing. Now I've got some broccoli and Brussels sprouts in this pan. And let's see, let's stir them a little bit here, and we'll see how this goes. In fact, you know what I may try? I may just turn the heat completely off and let them just soak in that hot water, because I do that with pasta and that tends to work. I just really need to get the water really hot, and then I turn the heat off, and I think this will work. Now, there's a little bit of steam here. And so I think my mom said that you're supposed to cover it with a lid or something so that the nutrients don't go out in the steam. And I don't know if that's true or not, but that's what I'm going to do right now. Is I'm going to okay, so I have the pan covered here. We got that covered there, and so The vegetables should be getting really hot, and when they get hot and they're soaking in water, they get really soft, so they're easy to eat. So I'll be eating broccoli and Brussels sprouts, and that'll probably be one of the weirdest things I've ever eaten. But I need to eat. Everybody needs to eat, so I'm eating plants instead of animals. So anyway. Orange juice. It's wonderful. Yeah, orange juice makes me feel good. Okay, anyway, back to what I was saying about, this whole antinatalism philosophy is very interesting because I get the idea of it being unethical to procreate, and yet, every time I hear this about antinatalism, because I have my friend Trick Slattery who brings it up sometimes, I get to thinking, well, this is an argument for people not having sex. Whereas the rest of the world seems to take it as an argument saying, oh, well, we have sex because sex is the most important thing in life, and so let's just kill the children we conceive. And there's a problem here. I feel that abortion is not some trivial matter. Okay? Abortion is not a trivial matter. It's not just some kind of personal opinion that people have that doesn't affect anyone else, okay? It affects who people vote for. You know what I mean? It affects who people vote for in elections. It interplays into people's religious beliefs. It affects it affects who lives or dies. How pro-life somebody is or how pro-abortion they are is going to determine who lives or dies. That's going to have severe effects on the rest of the world. Because, okay, here's the problem. As this person who strives for nonviolence that I am, I strive for nonviolence and not killing, not causing pain if it's possible to avoid it. Okay, this leads me to a celibate life, okay? Because now, it makes it easier that I don't really care about sex anyway. I happen to be asexual. And at first, I used to think I was straight years ago because I thought girls were cute. But no, not really. I mean, sure, girls are cute, but so are horses. I mean, just because someone's cute doesn't mean that I wanna have sex with them. That's ridiculous. I don't have sex with my stuffed animals, and they're cuter than any human or real animal for that matter. You know what I mean? I don't. It's like that's ridiculous. So I'm not straight. Contrary to popular belief, I'm really not straight. I think girls are cute, especially when they have a ponytail, because ponytails, horses, that sort of thing. But yeah, I'm really asexual because when I look at my life, I've never pursued really having a girlfriend. I kind of had a girlfriend for a while because she pursued me, but that didn't work out. So anyway, yeah, sure, I'm not interested in sex anyway. But at the same time, it's hard to know how much of that is just biological, and how much of it is because I already, when I was like 25 and 26, I was already questioning the idea of whether or not sex is right or wrong, whether people should get married, whether they should have kids. I was really questioning that, and people, I wrote my first book, Confessions of a Confused Virgin, when I was 26. It was about 2013, like right after my birthday, when I first published that as a Kindle book. And I had this chapter title like, is sex right or wrong, or something like that. It's been a while. But yeah, is it right or wrong? And it's interesting, most people don't think about that. People don't think, is it right or wrong to have sex? People don't think like that. Only nerds like me seem to think of that. Because that revealed to me that I'm a person who's like, I can take or leave this thing. If having sex and having children I viewed as a moral good, if I viewed it as the morally good thing to do, then I would probably do it. But with who? That's the question. I mean, look, if I really thought having children was a good thing, If I probably, who knows, maybe I would be married. Maybe I would have children if I really thought it was a good thing. But I really came to the conclusion in my mid and later 20s, the more I thought about it, having children is not such a good thing. Especially after I became educated and I went vegetarian and then vegan, I started realizing having children is a terrible thing. But at the same time, that doesn't mean that I support abortion. It's very interesting, see, because I have this belief that killing is wrong. How unusual, right? You know? I'm gonna stir my vegetables here. But you know, I just have this belief that it's wrong to kill, and if that's wrong, I mean, if killing is a morally good thing, then, well, then I'd probably be doing that. Actually, no, I wouldn't, because I don't like the sight of blood. I get grossed out by dead things. So if I thought killing was a morally good thing to do, I still wouldn't be doing it because, you know, I don't like to kill things. That's the way I am. So I don't think I could kill somebody even if it was a good thing. I just can't do it, you know, just kind of like I can't lie. Even if I wanted to lie, even if it was the best thing to do to lie, I just can't do it. There are some things I can't do. And let's just say that I can't intentionally kill someone, you know, and I can't try to lie or deceive any more than I could get pregnant, because I'm a man and men don't get pregnant, especially when they don't have sex. Okay, I'm cracking myself up because I am talking some serious nonsense, and sure, I've been going at this for about half an hour, and most people probably got bored and shut this video off a long time ago. And I don't even know how much space I have left on this iPhone. This is crazy. But anyway, I'm talking about some seriously depressing subjects, but I'm a lunatic, okay? And so I'm just thinking about this. And the more I talk about this, the more it helps me think about it. And I'm just thinking more and more that, yeah, sex is evil. Procreating in this world is a bad thing to do. It's a bad idea. I mean, if we lived in a perfect world where like everybody experienced more pleasure than pain, sure there might always be pain, but like if everyone, every human and every animal experienced far more pleasure in their life than pain, then perhaps I would not view procreation as unethical. But that's just not the reality we live in. And I want to live in reality. I want to live in truth. And speaking of truth and reality, there's another topic I want to mention. It's the topic of the afterlife. You see, here's the thing, is my mom has, for the past few years, my mom and I have had some weird talks, okay? And here's the thing. Now, my mom believes in God. I don't. She calls herself a Christian. She believes in an afterlife. In fact, she knows there's an afterlife. Here's the thing about it is, okay, she read some book called Evidence of the Afterlife, where some guy, I actually, yeah, some guy had some study where people submitted their near-death experience stories. In fact, I even listened to the audiobook. I never told my mom that I listened to the audiobook, Evidence of the Afterlife. It was like 3.5 hours long, if I remember correctly. And I found it so boring, and not convincing either. And here's the thing about it. People who believe in God and believe in an afterlife, they hear near-death experiences and they look at it and they say, oh, here's some proof that there's an afterlife, because these people say that they died and went through a tunnel of light and saw Jesus and the Virgin Mary, and you know, people who believe it already look at that as evidence. They look at it and say, well, here's proof there's an afterlife. Whereas, like I found, you know, that atheists are not usually convinced by this. This is over and over. I've seen this. I've seen reviews. Like whenever my mom tries to tell me about, here's a book or here's some movie that proves that there's an afterlife, Well, I look at the reviews. One of the first things I do before I read a book or even watch a movie a lot of the time is look at the Amazon reviews and find that people who were already a believer in the afterlife loved it, and people who already didn't believe in an afterlife, well, they didn't find it convincing. And why don't atheists find near-death experience stories convincing? Well, here's the deal. The reason that we can't be we can't really be convinced by near-death experience stories is the same reason that we can't be convinced by the Bible. Because here comes, like, along comes a Christian trying to push their religion on an atheist and say, here's the Bible, all this stuff happened, you know, believe it or you go to hell, or something like that, you know? And so here's what happens is, you you don't convince people outside of, like, I mean, I used to believe the Bible because I was raised that way. My mom raised me as a Christian, and the Bible was the first homeschool subject because my mom homeschooled me. So the Bible was viewed as the top priority. The most important thing you need to know in life is the Bible. But now my opinion is the most important thing you need to know how to do in this life are things like, you know, eat, use the restroom, balance your checkbook, that kind of stuff. But Christians view the Bible as the sacred, unquestionable thing. You have to believe that all these stories happen. And here's the deal, I don't believe it anymore. I don't believe in the Garden of Eden and the man being made of dirt, the woman being made out of the rib, God getting all pissed off at the human race and you know, wiping them out with a flood, except for 8 humans and some of the other animals. Like, the flood story is... Oh man, the flood story. Where do I even begin with the flood story? No, I don't want to get into the flood story, okay? Not really, because I don't mean for this to be a rant against Christianity, but that's just what happens, because I'll tell you something. My experiences with Christians and their hypocrisy in these churches is just unreal. They don't believe what they say. They really don't believe the things they say, and their actions to me prove that they don't believe it. Seriously. The central aspect of Christianity seems to be believing a bunch of stuff so that you go to the correct afterlife. It seems to be believing the right stuff so that you go to heaven. And if you don't believe it, you go to hell. And that seems to be what Christianity is about. And most